I want to ask you something nobody asked me before I retired. And it's not a question about your pension or your savings or when you're planning to stop. The question is, what are you retiring to? Because most women I speak to, and I include myself in this, have spent years planning the financial side of retirement. And I can't say that I did a perfectly good job of that, but I did it to the best of my knowledge and my ability. So the pension, the budget, the date, all that has been thought about. And almost no time at all thinking about the life they're stepping into on the other side. And I want to tell you from 2 months in, that gap shows up very fast, very fast. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Leslie and I've just retired. Welcome to my channel. It's great to have you here. Now, retirement came alongside for me the loss of my husband. So it didn't arrive the way I had planned or the way we had planned. It arrived in the middle of everything else changing at once. And that meant I had no choice but to figure out very quickly what I was actually building my life toward, not just what I was leaving behind. And this video is about that because I think it's one of the most important conversations women approaching retirement are not having. We spend years, sometimes decades, planning financially for retirement, pension pots, savings, state pension, when to hand in your notice, counting down the days till it's our final day. And those things matter. I'm not dismissing any of it, but almost nobody plans the life. And when my retirement came, it was nothing like the plans we had made financially or on a daily basis. I never asked myself, what does your ordinary Tuesday look like? What does your ordinary Tuesday, Leslie, look like without your partner of 34 years? And it wasn't the holidays or the big trips that I'd been saving for or we'd been saving for. It's a random Tuesday in November when you are there facing it. What time do you get up? Who do you speak to? What are you doing in the mornings? What have you got planned in the afternoons? What is happening in the evening? Because the thing is, your life until now has been shaped by a routine you didn't fully choose. And normally it's the routine of employment. But whatever that routine is, it usually starts with the alarm, the commute, the would-be meetings, the colleagues, who might not be your best friends, but you hang out with for 8 hours a day. And it's all around a structure. Everything has been someone else in the driving seat. And then one day it's gone. And a Tuesday is just open. And if you haven't thought about what goes into that space can feel very big and very quiet very quickly, very quickly. I know this because I've lived it, except in my case, I wasn't just it wasn't just retirement arriving, it was retirement arriving alongside the loss of my husband, the loss of my community of 40 years, the loss of my dad, and I had him for many years, my dad. He was 89 when he passed away 6 months ago, and I moved to somewhere completely new. All of the structures that used to tell me who I was, gone at the same time. And I had to ask myself a question I hadn't asked myself in decades. Got a long time. Who am I now? The thing is, work gives us more than an income. It gives us roles, a title, a place, and a reason to be somewhere, a purpose. And then when you're at work, you might be the leader, you could be the organizer, the one that people come to, knowing that you're prepared to listen, the problem solver. You wear those hats without thinking about them. They've become part of who you are over many decades. And then retirement arrives. And those hats have to come off. And if you haven't thought about what replaces them, who you are outside of those roles, That silence can be very disorientating. Believe me, I hadn't asked myself that question. I hadn't thought about all those hats coming off. And I think this is especially true for women because many of us were also or are carrying other roles at the same time. We're a carer, a mother, a partner, a daughter, and we're the glue that holding it all together for other people's lives as well as our own. When those roles shift, when the children are grown and gone, when a partner passes, like in my case, when parents are gone, and thank gosh, thank goodness, I've still got my mum. The question of who you are, stripped of all of it, it can be hard. It can land very hard. And I won't pretend I had a neat answer to that question. I'm still answering it. But I'll tell you what I have found. The women who seem to navigate retirement best are not the ones who had the most money. They're the ones who knew or figured out very quickly what they were moving toward. So, what does it mean to retire to something? Well, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be a business or a project or something that looks impressive from the outside that you can make a highlight reel of and post it on social media. It means having an answer to that Tuesday question, something that gets you up in the morning, something that gives your day shape, and something that actually is yours, not because someone else put it in your diary, but because you chose it. For some women, that's a creative practice they finally have time for, or art that they set aside 20 years ago and suddenly start thinking about it, or even a language they always wanted to learn. Maybe that novel they always wanted to write. For others, it's connection, making a community the project. My neighbour has just done that. She's joined something in the community, and I take my hat off to her. And I think she will be perfect for what she's doing. But it's all about joining things deliberately, showing up consistently. It's that word again. Everything has to be consistent. Building the social life they want rather than hoping it arrives, because it won't. Nothing ever comes looking for you. You have to go looking for it. And for me, it was building something online, not because I had a plan for it. I came online 3 years ago before retirement, more by accident than decision. I was looking for a purpose, a reason to get out of bed after my husband died. But once I saw what was possible, which took me probably about 6 to 8 months, and I realized I could build an income, I could build a community, which I have, my own Facebook group of similar minded people. And the best part is I do it all on my own terms. I had my answer. That's what I'm retiring to. And I won't pretend that it's been easy. It hasn't. It's not always been easy. But the best part is it's mine. And having something that's mine has made all the difference. I never had anything that was mine since the day I got married. And I don't know if it's empowering, but wow, it feels great. It absolutely feels bloody fantastic. And that has made all the difference. And if you're approaching retirement, or if you've recently retired like me, and something just doesn't feel quite right, I want to leave you with these questions. And these are not impossible questions to answer, but you may have to sit with them. And they are worth sitting with. So the first one is, what does your ideal ordinary Tuesday look like? Pick the worst weather day of the year, because they're the days that are long. What roles did work give you that you'll need to find somewhere else? And what have you set aside over the years that deserves to come back into your life? Is there a project, something real and ongoing that you could build back into your retirement? What does your social life actually look like without the built-in contact of work. One of the things that I found when I actually stopped my corporate career was I thought I had all these friends, and what it turned out, and it was a shock because I thought these people were genuinely my friends and they were lovely people, but the only thing we had in common was work. So when work was no longer there, those people disappeared. So it's a very um, good question to think about how your social life actually looks. And who do you want to be now? Of course, you're not going to answer all of them today, and you don't have to answer all of them today. But I would at least start with the last one because everything else tends to follow from that. 2 months into retirement, I'm still building my answers. Some days feel full and purposeful, some days feel quieter than I'd like. But I know I'm moving forward because I'm now at a stage where I'm starting to enjoy my own company. And I know there are many women that are heading into retirement solo for whatever reasons, whether it's been the passing of a partner or a divorce, or they've been on their own for so many years that it just continues. But I know, and this is what's so wonderful, is I know what I'm moving toward. And that makes a difference that I can't fully put into words. If you're watching this and you're still figuring yours out, that's okay. No pressure, no time. You don't need to have it all mapped out before you begin. You just need to start answering or asking the right questions. Drop your comments below. What are you retiring to? I genuinely want to know. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And if you want to follow along on my journey with me, don't forget to hit the subscribe and share with someone who may need to hear this. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.